You're listening to the Healthy and Thriving Career Mums podcast, where every week you will learn about healthier habits and hacks to create and support a healthy and thriving lifestyle as a busy mum. I'm your host, Wendy, and I truly believe that the best gift you can give to your family and the world is a healthy, thriving you. Let's dive in. Hello, gorgeous, and welcome to episode 7 of season 3 of the Healthy and Thriving Career Moms podcast, where today we're going to be hearing from the incredibly inspiring Khalifa. She is a single mom, and I first came across her through her Instagram account and then through her podcast. I've been a guest on her podcast. She is just an incredibly inspiring woman, and I just thought so many of our community are single moms. And it's a whole different dynamic, and it's one that I cannot speak to necessarily as a married person. So I really wanted her to come on, share sort of her struggles, her wisdoms for us, and just really give an insight. And if you are not a single mom, you think, oh, this is not relevant to me. Actually, I really encourage you to listen to this episode, because I'm sure you will have single mom friends, and there's maybe perhaps some things you've not quite thought about. I actually have a lot of single mom friends and was brought up by a single mom. My dad wasn't around. And so for me, like, so much of what she says truly resonates for me. And I know that you're going to get so much value from what she shares in today's episode. So I can't wait for you to hear it. But just a quick reminder, if you're not already a part of our Healthy and Thriving Career Moms Facebook community, come and join us. We've got some exciting stuff coming up for November, and I don't want you to miss out. So come and join us in that community, get involved, and enjoy today's episode. So welcome to the podcast today, Khalifa. I'm so excited to have you join us.
Thank you so much, Wendy, for having me. I'm happy to be on a podcast. I feel like as a podcaster myself, I'm always reaching out, interviewing people. So it feels good to be on the other side.
I know. I'm excited to interview him. I mean, that's how we met, because you reached out to me. I've appeared on your Happy Single Moms podcast, which, even though I'm not a single mom, there was a relevant topic that we were talking about. But I've been so excited to interview you for this series, the Thriving Mom series, because for me, you're just the epitome. I mean, first up, you're a single mom, which we'll talk more about, and the dynamics of that. And I just think there's so many people in my audience who are single moms. So I really wanted you to come on and share your story and how you juggle it and everything that goes with it. So tell us more about you, like who you are, where you're from, the whole
shebang. Well, yes. So I am Khalifa Araba. I am based in London, 35 years old. I'm mother to an 11-year-old son. And I have been a single mom since conception. I was in a long-term relationship. Well, it was kind of rocky, on and off kind of thing. Met when I was 16. And I got pregnant when I was around 24. And I decided to have my child. And then my partner at the time, because we were on and off for 10 years, he said to me, well, I don't want you to go ahead with this. And in the duration of our relationship, I'd had a termination. And it's something that I said I would never do, because I feel like it's something a lot of women do not speak about. It's kind of like you contact Mary Stopes, give them the £500, and the next day, problem is just gone.
Is that what it costs? Well,
yes,
what it costs?
It's 500. Yeah, but it's if you go private, it's £500, and yes, you can get an appointment. In comparison to like the NHS, whereby you might have to wait a duration of 2 to 3 weeks. If you call private, you could just get it done. Now, when I had that termination, I just felt, you know what, I'm going to do my law degree. I've got a career that I want to pursue. I don't want to be a mum. And when after I had the termination, I remember I was at home one day and a Pampers advert came on, and I cried for like 2 hours, because then I started like calculating, oh, the child could have been a boy, it could have been a girl, it could have been this age, And I think that a lot of times moms don't really speak about the emotional ramifications that happen when you have a termination, and the condemnation that just piles upon your neck. So I say that to say this, that when I had then got pregnant again, I said it's something I would not do. So when he told me that I'm not going ahead with you, I was like, do you know what? Jog on, mate, because I'm having this baby. And it's been like that ever since the conception. And when I told you I believe in God, that it wasn't until I got pregnant with my son that I realized that there is a God, because it has been an emotional roller coaster, but we have survived. Speed on to now my son's 11. He's been signed by Disney. I am working full time. I've got a car, I've got a house, I've got a job, I've got a podcast that I started in the pandemic. Not I know that when people speak about like the things that they're achieving now, it sounds all wonderful. Like it sounds all like, oh, Netflix. But there have been some cliffhangers. There have been months of tears, not even days, but months of tears, because I feel like sadness sometimes is seasonal, like they're just seasons of sadness. But yeah, it has been a journey. But one thing I say to a lot of the mums, even on my platform, that if you are pregnant, have your kid, have your child, because there's so much blessings that come when you have those little gems, and you don't know who they can be. So and that's kind of where the Happy Single Moms podcast was birthed from, because I found that as a single mom, people were wondering like, why are you so happy? It was kind of like you're not meant to be happy as a single mom kind of thing. Like they wanted you to be. Yeah.
Is that been your experience as a single mom?
Yeah, they kind of felt like, why have you got your ish together? Even when I was pregnant.
They're my happiest friends are the single moms.
Yes. Honestly, like even when I was
pregnant. But no, I mean, I have so many friends who are single moms. I was raised by a single mom for the first sort of 11 years, 12 years, until she married my stepdad. And then he became my sort of father figure, which, we had a really good relationship. But yeah, so I just have the utmost respect for single moms. I just, there are those moments in my day when, like tonight, for example, my husband went out to play football and I had a work sort of deadline I wanted to finish. And then I said I'd do dinner. And then I had to get her in the bath and get her ready and get her to bed and do dinner and come and do this, and she was being a right pickle. And I just thought, well, at least he's coming home. Like I have someone to hand off to. But as a single mom, there isn't that handoff.
No. It is the hardest thing. Being a mom is the hardest thing I have ever had to do. And it's the most emotionally taxing thing. And doing it alone is very, very emotionally taxing. And one thing I would say is that it's the most selfless act you ever have to do as well. Selfish people can't have kids. Selfish people shouldn't have children, because it's not
probably not a case of can't have children, because often
shouldn't
have children.
And even down to now, I'm happy that yes, he's 11 years old and he's just leaves me alone now.
It's amazing what you were describing to me just now about him being on tour with Disney. So just tell us quickly about that, because I'm sure people heard that in the podcast and they were like, what?
Yes, so he is currently playing Simba, young Simba in The Lion King. So he's been signed by Disney and he's on tour. So he has had like loads of shows in Edinburgh, Manchester. He's currently, I'm not going to disclose where he's at right now, but yeah. So he's currently on tour right now. And yeah, it's been amazing because he had to do an audition and there were 200 children that they auditioned, and then they wound it down to 16, then they wound it down to 6, and then they wound it down to 4, and my son was one of the 4 kids that they took. So it has been a heck of a journey. And yeah,
he always loved performing. Did you see that from an early age?
No, do you know what? He's always been very confident, always been very gobby. And one of my girlfriends sent me a flyer. It was so funny. She sent me a flyer. She's like, oh, these people are looking for young boys, age 8 to 9. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me just send in Josiah's picture. And I sent the picture and the woman called me back and she said to me that, oh, hi, is your son been signed by an agent? And I was like, no, this is just my girlfriend sent this to me. She's like, oh, I would really like for you to send me some headshots. And I was like, headshots? I was like, what the heck is that? Yeah, I was like, what the heck is that? Luckily for me, this is why God is good. My next door neighbor's a photographer. So I was like, can you come and take some headshots of Josiah, please? took the headshots, and she signed him. It was
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
that.
So how many years
Yeah.
ago was this?
It's been 3 years now. 3 years that he's been signed with her, but he only started doing the Lion King in April.
Wow. So how
So
does that work with like schooling and being on tour and
with the tour, Disney actually paid for him to have a tutor, and then the tutor would liaise with the school, and yeah, they just send the work back and forth. So there aren't going to be any gaps, which is kind of good in a way, because whilst he's got a tutor, he has like one-to-one, so they can actually explain in comparison to being sat in a class of 30, whereby like kids just So
gosh,
it is a
amazing. So
yeah.
I mean, you must miss him when he's gone. Is it really quiet?
It is a very quiet, and I'm gonna expose myself a little bit now, because I watched the documentary with Jeffrey Dahmer the other day, and it's like about this serial killer guy. It's on Netflix, yeah. And I was in the house, and I was so, at 35 years old, I was so scared.
I was gonna say, I don't even know what that is, because I wouldn't be watching something like that, because I'm such a ninny when it comes to scary things. I think being South African and having been exposed to a lot of like trauma growing up, I'm like,
Oh my
I
God.
go through it for fun.
So when I tell you that, being although I do have my mum's visiting today, but I'm saying that, like, when he has gone away and I've watched certain things, I'm like, damn, I wish there was someone else in the house. Not that we can both fight a
It's
serial
so
killer.
funny. When my husband used to travel a lot, like, and we used to be on our own, it was that like, it's so funny, because what is it like a 2-3-year-old gonna do?
But
But
I
it's
feel
just
like
knowing
having
there's someone
someone else there, like
I
any
know.
noise, you're like, oh my gosh. So I honestly, I do miss him, not because of where I'm afraid of serial killers, but because
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know.
I do genuinely miss my child. But I do feel like another thing is that the older kids get, I don't know, like the more they change. When he was much younger, like around 5 years old, we can sit down and watch a movie, and we can have like cuddles and stuff and kisses. But now that he's like 11 years old, he feels like he's a bit too cool. Like, I'm like, oh, give mommy a
Oh, I
cuddle.
know. Do you know what? I am relishing. So my daughter is soon to be 6, and I'm just relishing that time with her, just knowing, because even like today, she came home from school and she was a bit snotty and just very otherwise, and I really wanted to give her cuddles and stuff, and she was like, no, and I just thought, oh,
Yeah.
like, it's, this will be the norm when she's 10,
It
11.
breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that, like, now that
I just take
11.
take the moments now when she is in a really cuddly mood, and I just think, oh,
No, grab it. Grab it.
holding her.
Yeah.
Remember when they used to just sleep on your chest, and
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
and
Now
then
all I hear is just like,
all you could think about was, I've got to put the dishwasher on, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I don't have time to do this. And it's like, that's the advice that I just give to all new moms. I'm like, just relish it. Like, stay at home in your PJs. Days, don't feel like you've got to get out the house every single day, although some people might give you the advice that you should do that. But for me, I just wish I'd stayed in my PJs more and not, felt that pressure.
Yeah, cuddle, forget about personal space, because after some time, you're just going to actually just want them in that personal space, and they're going to be playing Roblox. So
exactly.
yeah.
No, so true. Now, so let's shift gears. Let's talk about you. It's nice to talk about kids, but I want to talk about you.
Okay.
So tell me, you obviously work full time. You also have a very successful podcast, which has had over 50,000 downloads, which is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And you started that in lockdown. So talk me through, like, how did that all come out?
I felt like I had a story to tell. I wanted to get my voice out there. I wanted to speak to certain people. And so I was thinking about YouTube. I was like, oh no, I can't be bothered to be putting on makeup every day. So then and I can't edit. So I was like, let me start podcasting. And when I tell you that I was thinking to myself that, do you know what, if I put a podcast out there, if I get like 50 downloads, I'm going to continue. Then I put the first episode out there, which was just the intro. Then I did how I became a single mom, because it's so funny that that's the first thing people ask you, which is weird, a bit forward, but they're like, oh, you're a single mom. Well, how'd that happen? I'm like, well,
yeah, I suppose maybe it's no different to people saying, oh, how did you meet? And you know, then we've always got to go through a story. We met at work and you know.
So everything was just aligned. So I put them the first episode of how I became a single mom. Another thing I want to tell you as well is that even with the theme song, it's with a lady called it's Maya Isaac, and it's called When I Get There. And I feel like the thing is with her, she's actually a very big music artist, and I actually messaged her. She's got like thousands of followers on Instagram. So I messaged her and I was like, hi, I'm starting a podcast. I'm a single mom and I would love to use your song as my intro. And then she was like, yes, okay, that's fine, I give you permission. And I was like, no, this actually, because I was just expecting her to ignore it. I was
no way.
I swear to you. So I was like, oh, no. There is something I meant to do. And I feel like as moms, as single moms, as wives, we all have a story to tell. And that's what I found with the podcast, the fact that I'm able to reach and touch people that I would never have been able to reach and touch. And it's just been an amazing. And the thing is, what is funny as well, let me say this. One of the biggest things I've always got in trouble for in school, at work, is talking too much. Like, Khalifa, all right, it's enough now, it's enough, Khalifa, all right, we get it, you know? And that's actually, and that is actually my calling. So it's look in your closet. What are people saying about you? Do you constantly bake cakes? Do you constantly have the best advice? Maybe you're a coach, maybe you're a counselor. Like, podcasting to me has been the door opener in regards to seeing what is inside people's closets and knowing what I should have in my closet and what I should put in and take out. It's an amazing thing. And
I know I resonate with that so much. I have always been fascinated with people, which is why I'm absolutely loving doing the series, because I whenever I meet somebody, I just ask them loads of questions about them. And then they go, oh, enough about me, let's talk about you. I'm like, no, let's carry on talking about you. Like, I love people. And it's funny because I thought I wanted to be a psychologist, and I studied psychology, but then I was like, I don't want to study for like a million years. And I wanted to get out and work. And so it's so funny, but one of my favorite subjects was health psychology. So like now, coaching didn't exist when I was at university. Dating myself here, how many, 20 odd years ago. So now it's like, well, I'm a health coach, and it's like I've combined all my passions and helping people into a career. And yes, podcasting is totally my outlet, because I can, you know, basically it's my job to talk, so no one can tell me to shut up.
No, I love it. And I love, meeting new people and hearing their stories.
And no, it's been so wonderful to connect with you and get to know your story. But tell us, like, what does a typical day look like for you in your life? I mean, I can't imagine there's a typical day for you, but
typical day is usually...
Tell us about your job and then how that marries in with everything.
Yeah, so typical day, I've got set my alarm for 6 o'clock because I like to wake up. When my son is around, set my alarm for 6 o'clock because I like to wake up early before him, because just to get my mind together.
Absolutely, I do the same. Let's get a jump in the day. 100%.
And on my alarm, I'm a weirdo. I always make sure I remember why I woke up. My alarm says, thank you, Jesus, for waking me up. So,
I love that. What, is it like a song, or is it you saying that?
No. So my alarm would go, and then the message on my phone would be, thank you, Jesus, for waking me up. Because it's kind of like, it's reminding myself that, do you know what? I'm on this earth for a mission. God has woken me up today. I'm meant to do so. Even if it's just to crack a smile at someone, I know that there's a reason why I'm here. So wake up. I would make sure I usually do things the night before in regards to uniform, clothes, because I just can't do the hustle and bustle. So what I usually do is just wake up, sort out his breakfast, even maybe like bung sausages inside the air fryer, sort myself out, get ready, get him ready, school, then go to work, do what I have to do at work. I usually podcast at so like today, prior to our meeting, I had a podcast beforehand, and hence why by the way, guys, I had a mix up yesterday. So I thought our podcast was yesterday, so I was sat on Zoom thinking, where is she? when I was a day early. So I usually have podcasts like every single day, apart from the weekends, because that's when I just chill. And yeah, just sort out my social media and just plan my week. So everything's usually just strategic, planned out. And I'm flexible in regards to being adaptable, because sometimes your health and well-being kind of needs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same. I'm organized, but then I'm also happy to flex and be like, do you know what? That needs to shift, but you need a plan.
Yeah, you have to, or even like a rough sketch, like just something. And it's so funny, I would love watching stuff like The Apprentice, and I find that the things that they don't like, the reason why they flop in some of their projects is because they don't have a proper plan. Like the project manager just doesn't sit down and say, okay guys, we need to.
I mean, I don't watch The Apprentice because it just annoys me, because I just think, like, who are these people? Like, let me just get in there and organize things.
Yeah.
But yeah, of the few clips I've caught, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why have you not? Anyway, marketing, I mean, I love marketing and business. So yeah, I get actually more stress. I don't find it entertaining watching The Apprentice, because I just want to shout at the TV.
Yeah, but I love, time blocking, and even having like to-do lists. There's something about like a to-do list. I just love like crossing it out.
There's something very psychological about that. Like I have a little electronic diary, but I still have like a pad every day that I deal with, and then like I have my most important, and then I just have some extra.
That line.
Write it down, tick it off. There's actually you'd love my one, because mine's got little tick blocks.
Oh, wicked. Awesome.
But no, so I mean, that's a really full on life. But what I love about you is that you do it with a smile on your face. And for me, that's what I feel like a thriving mum is. It's not a person who has everything perfect, all their ducks in a row. Like, honestly, my ducks are going in different directions most of the time. But I think it's just doing it with grace. And I just admire your passion and your positivity so much. And I know that will inspire so many people who now will get to know you through this podcast and be able to follow you. And especially for our single moms community, because I feel like we've maybe not had enough of that on the community. Obviously, as the podcast host, I am married nearly 15 years now. So, like, I think that is something to celebrate in this day and age, I think, for sure. But at the same time, I'm super conscious that I have so many amazing women and so many amazing friends who are single moms. And I know there's definitely some challenges, and I'm always very conscious, especially on the weekends, maybe where I know their kids aren't with them, or they're maybe with their dad or whoever, and just making sure that I'm around to meet up with them and not get annoyed if they are busy and wanting to see their kids in the limited time that they, in terms of all that kind of thing, and juggle. But then there's a lot of people that are in the same boat as you and maybe don't have anyone.
But
dynamic.
I've had like my family, like I said, they're very, very supportive.
That's amazing.
And I've got loads of friends that have been able to take him when I just need 5 minutes. And one of the things that really set me free as a single mum was the fact that I love like old movies. I love like The Sound of Music, The King and I, just the old musicals, and like even Mary Poppins. So one of the things that I got a glimpse of was the fact that all of these women, they were the help, or they were nannies, or they had people there to assist them, like even with Mary Poppins, she was a nanny. She went into a home to help this family. And I had to divorce the idea as a single mom that I have to do everything by myself. Even you as a married woman, there are times whereby you'd call upon the grandparents on either side that, look, we need friggin' 5 minutes, or else we're going to sell all these kids on eBay or Amazon or Facebook Marketplace, So as single moms, we need to just relax. We need to let ourselves know that historically, there was a kin, whereby they had the aunties and the uncles living near each other, whereby they could help. It
Well, it's the
really
whole
takes a
village.
village.
It takes a
Yeah,
village.
yeah,
And nowadays we all live so scattered. And
yeah.
it's been a really interesting process for me this last year, is since my mom's come to live with me from South Africa. And really it's genuinely taken me about a year to not like tense up when I ask her for help, because I feel like if I ask for help, I'm failing because I need to ask for help. Now I'm like, she's there, she's offering.
Take it.
And I'd be a mad woman if I didn't say, yes, please,
Yeah.
can you pick up Jessie from school today so that I can do an extra hour's work or go to the gym or just sit and watch Netflix.
Exactly. And another thing that set me free is when I was reading a book, and it said that the reason why a lot of rich people are rich and successful is because they have mastered the art in delegating.
Yes.
And we want to
be
Mrs. Marvel, and do it all, or Mrs.
Yeah.
Hulk.
And my mom once said to me, you're a very good delegator. And immediately I took it offensively, like as if,
girl,
what? Are you trying to like imply that I shirk my responsibilities? But actually she was giving me a compliment. And I just was, again, as women, we're so conditioned to be like, no, I have to do everything. And she's right, I am a very good delegator. I do delegate a lot, but that's something I have really had to work and learn over the years.
Yeah. And as a single mom, even if you don't have a tribe, create a tribe. And sometimes when there's a gap, you can fill that gap, and you have to, if you want support, if you want help as well, sometimes you have to be that help to someone else, so that's something that I found myself, that whenever I've wanted a friend, me being a friend to someone has then given me that kind of
I've found that I've got, in my village, I've got a good handful of moms I know that I could just be like, can you do this for me? Or, and I've had friends ring me up and say, we've been let down by the babysitter, can you help? And of course, like, you just step in, and then it's nice to know that you've got that backup when you need it as well. So that's amazing. Well, so many words of wisdom there for our single moms. Wow. And it's just, I knew you'd be the perfect candidate to come on and talk about this topic. But now we're going to move into the little fun elements of the podcast, which has become a little bit of a tradition where I do a quick fire round to ask you some questions. And I haven't prepped people.
Okay.
So it is completely first thing, although some of it you probably already told us. But anyway, there's plenty of questions to get through. So first up, favorite movie?
I do love musicals.
You named a few there where you were like, Mary.
I would say The Sound of Music, because The Hills Are Alive.
That is one of my favorite movies. I literally, that's just amazing. Great choice. Great choice. We haven't had that one yet.
Yes,
we get the usuals like Dirty Dancing and things like that. So that's a good one to have. So what is your favorite get up and jam song that like just gets you in the mood, that you're just like, right, I can take on the world?
Favorite get up and dance? I'm bootylicious, but I was
just gonna say, it's like, I just knew you were gonna say that. Like, I knew a Beyonce song was gonna come out of your mouth.
Honestly,
I mean, you remind me so much of Beyonce.
Oh my gosh,
just got her energy.
But I love like cleaning music. Like, I need music just to be able to clean, like just blasting it, because it makes the cleaning go quicker.
You should put a little reel up for us of you doing the cleaning with some play. Right, what is your favorite drink to enjoy? I mean, it doesn't have to be alcoholic, but a lot of people
have you met me? I've got two, actually. So I love red wine because it doesn't get me intoxicated. And I don't like being drunk. I hate it, like not being in control. But so red wine. And then so that's for in the house, when all over the weekends. But then when I do go out, I love a porn star martini, like just.
Yes. Good choice. I love it. And then I love the passion for South Africa. We don't like we have a different name for it as well. So we call it a granadilla.
Oh, granadilla.
Not a the passion fruit like thing. It's like we just call it a different thing. So it's one of those little quirks of having two languages, even though I speak the same language, different words for different things, you know, pants, trousers, you know, that kind of thing. Right. Tell me, what is your fave easy supper, go-to supper that you can just like whip up for you and your son, like super quick, don't even have to think, just get it done?
Mince and pasta.
Mince
Bang,
and
bosh.
pasta.
Yeah.
I love it.
Just chucking the Lloyd's sauce in there. That's it. Get some cheese. Awesome. Just a quick dinner.
Sounds yummy.
Yeah.
I want to come to yours for a quick easy supper. This is the part that makes me like so hungry. Right. Final question. What is your number one top tip for a working mum? Like, what is the thing that you swear by?
I would say having a timetable, having a schedule, really helps. It helps a lot. And also giving yourself grace, like have your timetable, but if ish happens, then it happens. We've survived a whole global pandemic, so give yourself grace, but just plan ahead. And sometimes I say to people that my my past me irritates my future me sometimes, because she plans so much for me that I'm just like, girl, like, could you just let me chill? But in actual fact, if I didn't have so much on my plate, I would just be idle and I would just spend it watching serial killers on Netflix, you know? So in a way, just plan. And if you look at your kids as well as another example, like I blinked, I closed my eyes and I opened my eyes and now my son is 11. Kids, you can gauge your life with your children, and 1 minute you're pregnant, next minute they're crawling, next minute they're talking, next minute they're in primary school, next minute they're in secondary school. So time waits for no one, and time is something that we cannot buy in Tesco or Asda. So you are responsible for your own time. Utilize it well as a single mom, or as a mom in general. The same way when you're working hard and your kid says, oh, mommy, have you got 5 minutes? Give them the 5 minutes. Give it to them, because they're not going to remember that mommy and daddy worked so hard. They're going to remember that, do you know what? I wanted to show my mom a dance move and she took out 5 minutes of her day to look at the dance move. Or I had a picture and my mom validated the picture that might have looked like spaghetti, you know? So time is something that we can give to others. Give it to yourself. And yeah, that's my own little
It's made me so emotional, and because I resonate so much with that. And you know, I like you, I love that my past me irritates my future me. I do that. Like, I'm like, seriously, Wendy, how have you crammed the diary this much? But and you know, there is an element to that. Like, I do want to live life to the full, and I do want to have, you know, loads on the go, and I want to be living a fulfilling life, not a busy full life, like a fulfilled life. And a fulfilled life looks like I want to be involved in different projects and things, and supporting people and making time for friends. And so that element of being busy is, you know, a byproduct of that fulfilled life, I believe. But you're so right, like time waits for no one. So being intentional with our time and being very structured with it, and you know, making sure that we are, like I said to my husband this morning, I said to him, what are you doing for yourself today? To me, and he went, I'm going to play football tonight. And I went, good, okay. He's like, what are you doing for yourself today? And I was like, I'm going to a Pilates class. So you know, whatever it is, like, it's just, it is, you know, it's even taking intentional time for yourself, because that's really important too. But oh my goodness, so many words of wisdom. You are just an absolute joy and blessing to so many. And I'm so grateful that our community has gotten to know you on this podcast better. So do go and follow Khalifa. I'll put all of her, you know, Instagram, her podcast, all of the deets in the show notes, and go give her a follow. Screenshot the screen, share it out, let your single mom friends know about Khalifa, her incredible podcast, which has been such a blessing to so many single moms. And yeah, I just look forward to continuing to see you thrive.
Yes, thank you so much, Wendy, for having me. It's been a pleasure. And this is not a goodbye, but a hello, like Adele. Cheesy joke, okay? But yeah, we shall meet again.
Thank you for tuning in today. I am so grateful for you. If this episode has resonated, make sure you visit wendygriffith.co.uk to discover more of my content and my fantastic free resources to support you in thriving. Or if you'd like to continue the conversation further, drop me a DM via Instagram at Wendy Griffith Live Healthy. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep thriving.